We're in the fantastic Reds bar, Exchange Street East. We've got right there 6 European Cups. We can see them right there, and a lovely bit of Christmas behind us because it is the Christmas period. It starts right now. It is Friday night, and we are with our friends Erdinger. I'm very, very pleased to be so. I've got Ian, Salmon, Damian, Kavanagh, and I've got Kieran, Molyneux to talk about what is a massive Christmas period for the Reds, because the table's mad. Everyone's very close together. There's the 3 teams up the top. They won't be caught easily, I wouldn't have thought, Damian. But you end up in this situation where Liverpool are going to a Tottenham side. It were pretty miserable, and we won there well last season. Poor home record. And then they've got about as straightforward as you could have asked for. Now listen, we've seen this season Liverpool have looked gift horses in the mouth. But it's a real opportunity before that Arsenal game for Liverpool to put some points on the board.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, let's make Spurs more miserable with not against them, but you know this is what we're in business for. I think there's a couple of things. Obviously, we just talked before the start about the schedule. So we've had a week since the last game, and there's a week until the next game. And Crimbo's usually much more hectic than that. And then it's like a Thursday and a Sunday, and then you look at the opposition, and then you're thinking to Liverpool, well, what excuses have you got here? You know, I mean, I think Spurs is always. I think for me, I think I'm guilty of it. Always feels like, ooh, that's a hard one away. And you look at the form guard, and we usually win. We were phenomenal there last year at points in time. We're a very different team now. We're nowhere near that level. But you know, if Liverpool are serious about themselves, they should be going there and winning. And then the fixtures that come after that are spaced out enough against opposition. I mean, what excuse have Liverpool got for not, with all due respect to the opposition, for not beating Wolves and Leeds on the bounce at home with days in between? And then away games, well, Fulham. And I think Liverpool should really just focus on the games before Arsenal and knocking the points up and sort of like. So that'll sort of take care of itself. We'll worry about that cup tie sort of a thing.
It's cup tie,
then. But we've been all over the place, and we're sailing close to the wind with regard to personnel in certain positions, and that's the spanner in the works. So we need a bit of luck here, as much as anyone does. And if we've got the current lads who are currently fit, and they all stay fit for the first one, and they all play well for the first one, and we can get 1 or 2 back as each game goes along, then we'll be sound. But action man himself, Dom Szoboszlai, that's the big one, isn't it? I think it wouldn't be too much to say that if that lad is fit and plays well at Spurs, Liverpool win, and if that lad's unavailable, we're in trouble.
This is where we've ended up here with the season. Seasons you build them on trust. I remember going to Tottenham last season, and I hope maybe I might even have said it on a show because it was around the same weekend. I might have said I reckon Liverpool might put a bit of a display on here, because I genuinely did feel it. I thought this is a side that's playing really well, top of the pile, and you trusted them. You believed before the ball was kicked they were going to go to Tottenham and look the part. They'd had a bit of a wobble against Fulham at home, gone down to 10 men. It wasn't a nice afternoon, but you felt as though there was defiance in them. Trust is hard. It's hard, you know. Look good at Inter Milan, look good at Leeds for 70 minutes. Trust. Look good at Inter Milan though all the way through. We watched it together. Look good against Brighton. Brighton had a few chances, but look good on the whole. You've got to rebuild that trust, and they've got to build it in each other. It starts again on Saturday, because it starts over and over every time now.
It takes time to build trust though, doesn't it? And I mean, I don't think anyone would be wrong to not trust this Liverpool team at the minute, especially the way things have gone this season. But there has got to be a point in which we draw a line under things and change things. And we had this conversation after Inter Milan. We were really, really pleased with how they performed.
Tremendous.
And all the noise that week about the players aren't playing for the manager anymore, and the manager's days are numbered. I watched that Inter Milan game, and I seen a set of players really, really playing for the manager, really playing for the badge, and really playing to try and win a competition. We play our home playing at the weekend. I think we look sound again. So there's going to be a point in which we turn a corner, but as I say, there's nothing wrong with feeling Liverpool's form at the minute in this season and trusting them to put a set of results together. But you look at the fixtures on paper, they're all winnable fixtures. They're all games where you go, Liverpool can go there and go there and go there and go there and win every single one of them matches. It's not just the fact that they kind of got to, given the fact that what's happened so far this season. And if we do, you know, follow on from Brighton with 4 more wins and get 5 out of 5 before we go to Arsenal, then the whole thing will feel like it's behind us. But as if we stumble through this period and, you know, we play Leeds and don't get a result, or we Wolves and don't get a result,
or Tottenham
at the weekend don't get a result, then the trust is going to be on the floor again. So I think it's a pivotal point for Liverpool at the minute to put some form together to make the fans feel a little bit better, make the players feel a little bit better. As we go into the new year, put that behind us.
Collective belief's hard.
Yeah.
And that's what's at stake, I think. You know, I was very much, they could do really well in this run of 5 if they get the result in the first one against Brighton, but then it becomes, they could do really well in this run of 4 if they get the first one against Tottenham. Maybe, just maybe, then you might begin to go, all right, they've built a bit of a run. It's a fair few unbeaten.
Well, if they have, then we're on a run of 10 unbeaten, which becomes a fantastic thing. So, but at the moment, I think it's collective belief for us and for them in themselves, because at the moment, and it's specifically each other. I'd say at the moment, as a fan base, we trust, or I trust Hugo Ekitike. I trust him to do what he does. I trust Dom. I trust Curtis.
Yeah.
I trust Virgil some of the time. I trust Allison, and obviously the run of good games has come with Allison coming back in as well. And you know, some
no
of that maybe
coincidence at all.
There's never any way of finding out. But the fact that he's there's a surety at the back that means the rest can relax a little bit in front of them.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm not being disparaging to Mamadashvili, although a few weeks ago I was like, I don't know if he's any good or not. I don't know who he is yet. I haven't got a clue what he plays. Like in the same way at the moment, I can't trust Alexander Isak because I don't know what he does for us.
Yeah.
At the moment, he's just an unknown quantity, and begins to trust Milos Kerkez because he's getting better with every game. But it's the moment when we get to the point where we know enough about each one of these in the position that they're supposed to. Oh, I trust Florian Wirtz because I think he's a genius. When we get to the point where we know what each of them does in the setup and we know what the setup is, then we trust the whole unit again.
I mean, and we should have a degree of confidence on what you're just saying there, I think, because it could well be that the turning point was last week and then 2 games that just happened. You know, that was a tough European away. That was a game in the Premier League where we've been getting picked off by that sort of game.
And a game where we're getting picked off immediately after a tough European away, which is usually a difficult one.
So there's the things there, and you've got to be confident. So you've got the best goalie you could ask for. We've got 2 centre-backs who, okay, they haven't been as good this year, but there's been, you know, the team haven't been, but there's 2 centre-backs there. And the way that the full-backs are currently playing, a bit higher than that. Well, if Connor's coming back in and he's fit, he can certainly take over where Joe Gomez left off, which was very soon, wasn't it? And then Kerkez, I thought he was excellent. Yes. He's Brighton, and I think he was starting to get trust. And then if you look at the pack of midfielders, and it felt more like a pack or a block of midfielders, there's a lot in there that you can trust.
It was a very solid line, wasn't it?
Very, and interchangeably so. Clever footballers who, you know, pressing for it, nicking it, winning it, and rotationally being available.
Nobody necessarily being the holder and the goer. It's kind of like that old sort of McMahon Souness thing. You just, go backwards, go forwards.
All that, you know. And then the lad with the big smile on his face, who's making us smile more often than anybody else this year. So I just think, like you say, there's a lot in there about that trust thing. And if you just go through it, and then we're talking about the negative side of it, and how can you trust them? And then you look at them and say, well, look at these individually, and look at that collectively. Can that go to Spurs and win and extend an excellent week into, you know, to give us a platform? And it can. And so, you know, the more you think about it, the more you have got cause for confidence to say, let's go to Spurs and win.
You've also got, the manager's got some time to work with them. Now, he's not got that time to work with loads of them.
He has next week.
Because they're also
possibly not this week.
Well, there's been, you know, there's enough there across this period of time where he actually does get, and they get to work with each other. You know, that's still a thing. You said that before about Isak. I remain sort of seeing him at the minute just a little bit like, I wonder what he's going to do for me that isn't kicking it in the goal. And I mean that with the greatest of respect. I've got no doubt of his ability.
I've seen moments. I mean, his first game at Anfield the other week, there was a moment where he's in the cop corner in front of the main stand in front of me, and there's a touch that he makes is absolutely magnificent. He's not very involved in the game, but there's a touch that just reminded me of the first time I saw Nicholas Nelka play for us. And you're looking to go, that lad theoretically can do anything. I think Isak might be one of those footballers that can do anything. I just don't know what he does for us yet. I know he's a great footballer. I know he's great at scoring. I think he probably can do more because we've seen him move to the left, we've seen him move to the right. But so I think there's more to come. But we'll know what he does when he's fit, and we'll know what he does when he fits in with what we are doing as a team. And I don't think it's a jigsaw at the moment.
With what they've got to do and how they've got to assert themselves, Keo, there's for me a little bit of a thing where it was on Ian's list of trusts before. It feels Curtis just glues them up at the minute. I think Szoboszlai is undoubtedly been Liverpool's best performer all season. There's no argument as to how special Szoboszlai's been. But last few weeks and before then, before he got a little injury, I just felt like Curtis was able to make everyone make sense. Your jigsaw point, it was almost a little bit like, all right, the pieces didn't entirely fit, but Curtis is rocking up with some glue and just forcing them in.
Curtis suddenly gives you a left-hand side, you win where you had before.
And I think that's so important.
He connects things together. I mean, you know how much I love Curtis Jones. I've gone on about him for years now, when it seems that he gets a little bit more criticism than he should.
Same way Carragher did. It's just the scouts will get more criticism.
It's a scouts thing, but I think it's also a product of every time he sort of gets to this point, he only gets it with a bit of an injury.
Yeah.
Normally it gets it with a season finishing, or you know, say he goes out for a few weeks or months. But he's maturing more and more. I mean, he's been around this Liverpool side for years now, but I've noticed the change, specifically once he had his kid. I noticed the change. He changed the way he dressed.
Changes your life.
The way he spoke.
Changes your life.
He changed everything about himself, and he's quite vocal about this as well. And I just think he's matured a lot. But from a footballing sense, he's matured a lot as well. He gets criticism because the old cliche, we hold on to the ball too long, but I've seen him hold on to the ball and create so much for Liverpool. He sometimes invites the pressure on because he can deal with the pressure.
Yeah, I think that's good.
He sets the tempo. I mean, I remember watching Paul Scholes years ago, and he used to go, to go from left to right, when to go forwards, when to go back, controlled the tempo for Man United. Curtis Jones is a different footballer, but he does that job for Liverpool. He decides, how fast we should be playing the game. He decides when we go forward, when we go side to side. It's a big period for him now, because I think this is the first time a majority of the fan base is saying get him in the starting 11. And I think it's always been a little bit disjointed. He's had pockets of support here and there, and there's had people wanting to give him a chance, but now we're looking at going, he gels that team together. So this is a big period for him, and he's going to be a big player for us.
Like you said, there's the argument that he does the too many touches thing and he holds it too long, but I was saying to the lad who sits next to me in the match, you've got to let him have that, because he's got the confidence to do it, and if you stop him doing it, you're taking part of his confidence.
3 players come in, one here, one there.
He gets out.
But all of a sudden there's space behind them, and he's got the ability to get it out, even with his feet or with a flick or a pass,
and he
it opens the whole game up. I love him.
I would go so far to say that last week was his best week ever at levels at Liverpool.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, because under the radar, because we've been rubbish.
Yeah.
But when we really needed somebody to own that ball, to be assured, to be in a team that wanted to not let any goals in but still have a creative presence and whatever. So he'll have played individually more eye-catchingly on occasion, but that week of those 2 games when we really needed those 2 wins in the manner that we did, he stepped forward. I was talking to my mate Steve on the train. We talk about Curtis quite a bit, really. I've got a huge amount of respect for him, and I think it's got to this point, which is some statements. He's got to look about getting in the starting 11, and I've always thought he's going to be such a guy who you could trust, and I would say he would be first off the bench in the European Cup final, but I wouldn't pick him. But right now with this Liverpool team, he's got to look at it and say, hang on a minute, I can get in that 11. This is some statement, this. He's got to look at McAllister and go, I can have that shit.
Yeah.
That's the position that I want, because it won't be Gravenberg's and it won't be Dominic's. But I tell you what, my level is I'm going to go and take his shirt. Now that's something to do, because what a World Cup winning fantastic player McAllister is, who we've got a lot of respect for. But if we're talking about Curtis in those terms, and we're talking about Wirtz being in the team, we're talking about a guy who is absolutely shining at the moment, and I can only take my hat off to him because he's stuck at it. I think he's had criticism, not so much for being the local lad, but more of the fact that Jürgen's team played so aggressively and fast that it didn't necessarily suit his style. Point. And I think it suits this team more, and that's going to accentuate his strengths. And it's easy on the eye, and who am I to say about anybody, but I think when you're seeing all these flying players going round, you think, well, Curtis doesn't quite do that, and he's not quite as old as them or as experienced as them, but now he is as old and experienced as any player you'd like in the Premier League, and this team suits him more at the moment, so more of it, keep coming. He's a guy who, if he played at this level, should be in the starting lineup at the end of the year, and captain of the club, quite frankly. Considered in that category if he continues this trajectory.
It's fair to say the criticism with Curtis Jones has come from supporters. Every football manager that's worked with him raves about him. All his teammates rave about him. When he goes to England, whether it's Lee Carsley in the Temporal or Thomas Tuchel, whoever he works with him, they all love him. So you can't sort of operating at that level, and world-class managers and world-class players are recognising it, and you not have something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a case of he had that match where he came out afterwards and said, we're in the shit, we need to get out of it. The game up. So next game he was on the bench. Now, I don't know if that was a reaction from the manager for that, but then he comes back in, he takes responsibility. I think that's the big thing, he's taking responsibility.
Okay, I've got to go to the break. You can talk about them in a minute when I ask you.
We'll talk about during the break as well.
Fair dues, that.
We are with Erdinger, we are in Reds Bar. Very, very happy to be here. It is the Anfield Wrap. It is Friday night. It's a massive weekend ahead. Back in a second. We are with Erdinger, we are in Reds Bar. Everyone is very, very excited. We were talking about Curtis, so we'll talk about, all three of you are picking him. I refuse to believe that that's not the case for the game against Tottenham.
Be weird if we didn't pick him now after that.
After all that, it would be weird. I think with the whole thing, Kieran, where you'd end up, I think, is, Damian said before about McAllister. Should we look at McAllister's shirt? Is that the one that he wants? The thing at the minute is, the manager's almost just got to pick who's fit. I think we can try and talk about a team selection here. Bradley's back in the shake-up, but Gomez almost certainly won't be available. He's got 2 left-backs, but he's got no other options at centre-back. I think he's probably arguably got to pick which 2 of Ekitike, Isak and Viet starts, and I reckon the rest feels pretty locked down. Yeah,
the good side of it is he can manage minutes without having 3 games a week at the minute. So you can just pick your best 11 for this game that's fit, which is, from a manager perspective, makes it a little bit easier. But we're on the brink a little bit here. We do need to be a little bit careful. I feel as if we're 1 or 2 injuries away from being in a situation we don't want to be in. Yeah. But the team kind of does pick itself at the weekend. Obviously, the question around Isak and Ekitike, I think everyone's answer is going to be Ekitike at the minute, just given the fact of how good he looks and that he's generating this sort of love for him. You know what I mean? The fans absolutely, over the past couple of weeks, he's been liked anyway since he came in because he started quite well. The past 2 weeks, the fans have developed this love for him, and it's because he's delivering on the pitch. So some people will ask for Isak and Ekitike to both start. I think that'll be a little bit foolish given the injuries, and we probably need a change on 60 because I think Ekitike's gone to 70. But he did that at Inter, and he had Viets as the substitute, didn't he?
Yeah, you can work that round. Yeah.
He could work it that way round. I don't think it's mad to start the 2.
But you would need Dom in order to do that.
I reckon Szoboszlai will be making it. I think that'll get Szoboszlai on that pitch.
Do you reckon he'll start? Do you reckon they'll risk a start for him?
Yes. I don't think if Szoboszlai is in any shape right now, I think he'll be getting picked.
Yeah, and you start
80% Dom Szoboszlai is as good as anyone at the minute, isn't it?
For this Liverpool team, I'd be surprised. So I think if
we'd rather have him for Spurs than Wolves.
Yeah. And I think if we exist in the world where Szoboszlai's fit, then it does become. I think you can name the others.
I think it becomes the other 3 midfielders playing at the same time. So it's Jones, McAllister and Gravenberch start alongside Szoboszlai. And then you've got a front 2 which is 2 of the 3. So you've got your substitute and then you've got Chiesa in reserve.
And who would you pick as the 2 of the 3?
Ekitike and Viet. Because Ekitike is the man in possession of the shares at the moment, so he's absolutely on fire. Viet is running games.
Yeah, I have to say, I was raving about Ekitike and the love he's getting at the minute, but Florian Viet is getting better and better and better. Yeah. And on the eye as well. I'm sure his numbers and his data's adding up as well, but on the eye, just watching him, he's a football and a half to watch, and I just feel as if he's 1 game away from a 25-yard screaming goal on the top goal, and the floodgates are going to open with him, because the numbers will come, the goals and assists will come, because I'm not going to be too harsh on other Liverpool players this year, but he's put on a plate a lot. Yeah. A lot. And people haven't finished the tea. So I'm assuming that will come. You can't keep creating chances and not getting the numbers, but I'm with you, Isak and Ekitike.
You the same?
Sorry,
I would just count it backwards and make it simpler than that. I would just say, Slot gets up in the morning last Saturday, and what do I need? I need a clean sheet, I need a couple of goals, I need a bit of solidity, and I know it's not going to be perfection, but I want to see improvements, and I want to see a continuum of Inter at Anfield this time. So Gomez isn't available, and Bradley is. What are we changing here? Why are we changing it? And I think that also then demonstrates into the changing room. That's the level, lads. Yeah. And you've got the shirt, you're keeping the shirt. And if you want to break into this team, you better be doing something that's actually even better than that. And you'll get your chance off the bench. So unless there's something cute and tactical where he thinks, for example, Isak and Ekitike together will break this line or that line or whatever it is.
I just on the 4-2-4 again.
Yeah, whatever it is. And I'm happy to defer to that better technical knowledge and the insight into that. But simplistically going back to, if you're concentrating on what you're good at and imposing that onto a football match, then there's a line of continuing there. And we got all that we wanted last week. Now, that's not the pinnacle. It wasn't the greatest performance ever. And it needs to be the platform, not the destination of where we are.
But it was good.
To just say, yeah, it was good. It was very satisfactory.
It?
Oh, my ale tasted great on Saturday night. It really did. Good as this. So, the continuum of that and the gaining of the trust and the confidence in each other and the patterns of play. So I think Bradley really, bar for not being available for that game, would have started that match in that position, and he was born to play in that position.
Yeah.
So let's just do a bit more of the same, and then if you've got a question of, like, well, who comes off the bench? Well, if it's the great Robbo, the greatest left back we've ever had, well, great. You may end up seeing him coming off the bench. Isak, we need a goal, or we need to keep the pressure on, or we need to, give like a TK a rest because he's ran his socks off. Yeah. Well, that's sound by me.
And we need to play Isak into the team.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So to me, it's more about not a question of which of them. It's just keep the way it's going and let it grow organically. And one by one, other players will come in and become available. But let's just concentrate on what we've been good at, and we've had a good week.
Yeah, and it's working. So
yeah,
it's working and it's growing. So don't change it.
Yeah,
don't change it too much.
And if Liverpool can go to Inter and do that, why not let them lads go to Spurs and do that again?
Yeah.
I like it. I'm into it. 100%. I think the confidence. You can't be confident. That's not the same as being cocky, and it's certainly not the same as being certain. It's hard. It's a hard Liverpool team to be certain in and of at the moment. It's their job to bring that certainty back. Thank you very much to Erdinger. It's the last Friday night before Christmas, so whatever you're doing, and you don't have to all do the right thing. Have a good one all the way through. See you later on. Take care.